Welcome back to Talkers on the Wall. We are here with our second rendition. I got Max and Smith. We are here with our second review for Fallout. This is going to be pretty much strictly episode 4. We'll maybe talk about 3 in a little bit. We'll just hop right into it. General thoughts. I think we're just kind of like on like an above average to mid type of grind right now. I think things are steadily moving up, but I do feel like season 2, as of right now, is paced a lot slower than season 1, which is kind of disappointing because even season 1 was a build-up season on its own with villains and plot twists like Hank and all sorts of things that they worked on. But yeah, I'll leave it up to you. I would give this episode maybe like a 6.5 out of 10. A lot of good, but, just some other stuff that I just thought was forgettable. So what did you think about this episode, Schmidt?
Yeah, I was right around the same, 6.5. It's nothing crazy special. There was no Hank. There was the Norm side plot, which is bad so far.
Yeah.
And then, you get to see, like, a little bit. Obviously, like, Lucy and the Ghoul is great to see on screen.
Yeah.
And then, whatever Maximus is doing with Thaddeus. So.
Yeah.
Max?
I'll actually go a little bit higher because I think it is like a good progression episode. I'll give it like a 7.
Okay.
7.5.
Yeah.
It's not it's an above average episode in my opinion. Granted, I have to put some of my playing the game bias out of the way and just take it from a TV show standpoint.
Yeah. Right.
But I think it does progress like a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot of storylines, but the storylines they do talk about, like Maximus and Lucy and the Ghoul.
Yeah.
I guess that's
they make
fair.
really good progression this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And should set up nice for maybe it's next episode. Maybe it'll probably end up being 2 episodes down the line, though.
Yeah.
Just given
Mm-hmm.
they didn't talk about Hank or Norm really at all.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming episode 5 will really talk about those 2 a lot more. Or I would hope.
You would think.
Otherwise, they're just kind of wasting those stories.
Yeah, and kind of jumping into Maximus and just more of a deep dive into the Brotherhood. It's just one of our weakest parts of what we like about the show, and I just think it's on like full force in this episode. I mean, you have just all types of goofiness, like, hey, and I'm sorry if we offended the U.S. military, because some people did not like how we bashed on the Brotherhood, but guess what? It's a fictional show with fictional characters and a real writer that did not do that good of a job. And we just got to call it how it is. I just think that there's so many things that just kind of like take me out of this as like a threatening faction of like some, like, I just feel like hunting down, because I mean, you would think that they're going to hunt down Maximus now. And it's just going to be like, I don't care. You would have a good feeling that they don't kill Maximus. I don't find them as a threatening villain or they were a cool, like, noble hero too. Like, the power armor's cool. But frankly, there's no, like, real interesting character besides Maximus and Thaddeus. And they could have done a lot better job of having, like, kind of like Maximus's friend but rival. I felt like that could have been a lot more of, like, if that relationship's better in season 1 and season 2, then it makes almost like Max leaving the Brotherhood, like, actually, like, emotional. But it just doesn't hit at all.
Yeah. The Brotherhood, it's so hard to get behind in this show. Just because, playing Fallout 3 and 4, like 3 you have to follow the Brotherhood, I think. It's like the only ending, really. And then 4, it's the most fun in my opinion, because you get to follow Liberty Prime, but I guess that is just...
3 you could do the Enclave.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I don't know.
Man, I haven't played it in so long.
In a way, I think you can put the FEV in the water.
Yeah, that's what it is.
yeah.
It's
but you always have to follow like the Brotherhood there, and then
Yep.
you can change it up there. But yeah, it's really hard to get behind them, and then they're so wishy-washy with their like following the Codex rules, except for the Commonwealth guy. He was following the rules and being a stand-up Brotherhood guy. Poor guy. But they're like hurting another Brotherhood is like against the Codex, and then right before they get into us, like. Dude, like lady just shanks the dude because he disagrees with him. It's like that's okay, and then they just have a full out civil war, and all the Pridwins are attacking each other. And it's like okay, so they're just destroying themselves.
Yeah, and I know it's like like I said, looking at it from just a show standpoint, and not caring about your source material at all, which is obviously kind of what they've done.
Yeah,
and I mean at this point you just have to take it for what they're going for,
right?
And
are you at a point now, sorry to interrupt, but are you at a point now to where you're like, okay, they've strayed so far away from the source material that the show is the show and then the games are the games? It's not like one combined beautiful recipe?
I think I remember seeing that. Seeing that Obsidian or people who worked on New Vegas may have helped like stray them like in a way, like gave them ideas and whatnot for him. I think I remember seeing that like before the season aired. So I think I'm sort of like interested in it, kind of. Like, just to see where they go with it. But I just think they're doing a lot of stuff, or could be doing some better.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's fair. I mean, I just think if you're gonna build up the Brotherhood to be like this giant force, you just gotta write them with a little bit more respect. They're just too goofy. It feels like, imagine like all like the terrible writing in like the MCU in the last 5 years, and they're like, yep, that's exactly what we want for the Brotherhood.
Well, like I get it. Like they're just trying to portray, and especially with like Maximus's storyline, they're trying to portray that the Brotherhood is like not what they imagined, or not what he imagined it was, like in particular, and that's like, I think that's how they're trying to progress his story and push that forward. Well, I don't like that is how they got him to leave the Brotherhood. It's just by he's like, this is wrong, and his time with like out in the waste with like Lucy and whatnot showed him like, oh, like life is precious. And
I also think too, him leaving. And the leader, oh my god, I forgot what his name was.
Quintus?
Yeah, Quintus. Like, that whole, like, scene where he's like, I'm gonna kill Quintus. Like, that scene could have been, I thought it was fine, right? Don't get me wrong. But I think you could have that been, like, a heartbreaking scene to where, like, maybe you even get, like, a flashback or so of, like, how, like, them raising him into the Brotherhood and, like, saving him again from, like, Shady Sands. Like, just that little thing that I think the anime does really well. Like, it will make the most out of a moment by using the use of flashbacks, and I think that could have been done very well. I mean, maybe you throw in like a sad like violin score. I think that, I mean, I just see a show like Prime Game of Thrones that handled those scenes like so well, and I just can't help but think like the same relationship as kind of like Jon Snow and like the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. Like, those scenes hit so well, even in the early seasons, and I just felt like that could have been Maximus's moment to shine and really like take the spotlight of the show for a second. And I just don't think that was used. And it's just like, whatever, it's cool, yeah, but it's not like nothing that's gonna like groundbreak television or anything like that.
True. Like, I see where you're coming from, because, like, they tried, like, literally for, like, a second at the end. He was like,
he's like, my son!
Like, he's crying. Well, and then he chains him up in the room, and then he's crying, and he's like, I couldn't do it. And it's like, well, you could have, like, played on him not being able to do that more. Like,
100%.
You could have, in my opinion, you could have had him, like, actually shoot him and hit him.
Yeah.
And then, like, him, like, start bleeding, and then Maximus is like, I have, like, it could have been like a character progression moment where he's like, this is wrong, I need to get out of here. And
it would be cool too, like, now that like it's him and Thaddeus in the power armor, what if he is like permanently crippled to where he needs the power armor? Like, maybe he loses like he shoots like part of his fingers off and he can't hold a gun the right way. but he can still like hold like the power armor. I'm not sure like the full mechanics of that, but it would be cool if this to have a person super dependent on the power armor to where if that character's out of the power armor, it's like, oh shit, now there's a real threat to this character that I like. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
I mean, I think it would be interesting to like maybe see, but I mean, as far as Maximus right now, probably not.
No, I don't think it would really make a whole lot of like because they've already like the show has like hammered in the point that the power armor is kind of janky.
Yeah.
In that universe is.
But I just think it adds like another level of threat to characters and a dynamic to a character, where it's just like I now I'm to a point where it's like Thaddeus and Maximus' scenes. I'm like, okay, bro, we're good.
You don't like them at all.
I think that there are some good moments in season 1, and I can see where they're going to go, but I cannot imagine a single scene that will be an 8 out of 10 or above for me.
That's fair, but I'm like on the contrary. Like as it stands now, obviously, like Lucy and the Ghoul are like in a hot spot right now after episode 4, but I would actually say that like the Maximus storyline is probably the one I'm the most interested in, which is weird because I've already said that I don't really like how they're doing the Brotherhood in the show, but just looking at it from like a story standpoint, I think he's just had like a good character like arc to this point, and I mean they could really do whatever they want with it at this point. I mean he has the cold fusion. He's running away. Could end up going Caesar's Legion. You don't know what's going on there. Could end up with there, or like I was telling you earlier. Yeah. I'm sure they'll tie Voltec into Maximus somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's like some sort of like sonar reading, but it'll be like some writing plot, like random thing that they'll just pull, and they'll just be like, well, he has the cold fusion, go track him down, or something like that.
Well, if what we're predicting comes to fruition, and the next episode is a little bit more Hank, maybe we'll see that.
But it also
you want to see my daughter?
Maybe he'll be blowing off the neck of some other dude, and he's like, darn it, and he looks over, boop, boop. Ooh, cold fusion.
It also could be, like, he meets up with Norm. Is that... Because they're out.
That'd be the most interesting thing that Norm would have.
You gotta think that, like, those recruits... Obviously, Norm's, like, in charge or what. Yeah. But it's, like, they kind of play that scene where it's, like, slipping and that guy's kind of figuring out that he doesn't actually know what's going on. Yeah. So, what I think could happen is those guys figure out that Norm is kind of full of shit and doesn't know anything about Voltec and what their true intentions are. And then they run into Maximus and Thaddeus and whatnot. And that's how, like, that whole story comes together. And then they go to Hank instead of Hank going to get...
Yeah.
I think Hank...
Like the Vault Dwellers take the cold fusion from him? Or they...
I think... Personally, I think it would just end up being like they meet him, they see that he has cold fusion, and they just instinctively like think they're like, oh, this could be crazy power for Voltec.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking then, promotion.
Yeah, exactly, like nerd talk.
Yeah,
and I think that's how they'll. Because I'm assuming if what I'm talking about, like Norm, like gets taken over. Like, they take over Norm's spot or whatever as, like, the leader. And I'm assuming, are going to go to where Hank is at.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
To me, that would make the most sense, but you never know.
Because, they're all from 31. They would all know about the building. They would probably follow the same, or at least similar protocol that Hank does.
Yeah. So it's not crazy to think that they will go there. It's also not crazy to think that they could encounter Maximus on the way.
Right. I mean, and then back to, like, the Brotherhood. Since they've, killed the envoy and then they've had their civil war, I I wonder if the Commonwealth will actually come in any sort of force, or if he was kind of just full of shit and he was like, I'm sure if I just swing my hammer big enough, they're just gonna give it to me.
True.
So it could have been a ploy, could have been, I don't know.
Well, and it could be. I mean, this is real deep dive. Like, this is
Alex Jones level Fallout theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're making the frogs gay.
Because the Brotherhood got the vertibird schematics from the Enclave.
Right.
So, I mean, that's like a super, rabbit hole that you could go down for hours talking about how it could be like an Enclave dude undercover the whole time with Brotherhood power armor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could talk about that random stuff like that for hours, though.
Yeah, that's true. Could have been the actual Harkness from 3, and he's just
synth.
there.
He's still alive. I think I seen that. Like, that was, some people were talking about that after the episode. It was like,
I mean, that'd be a crazy twist.
It would be a crazy twist, but I think
aren't the synths on the East Coast though?
Well, he came from the East Coast.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
And there's already a Harkness established in the verse.
Yeah,
he's in DC though.
Yeah. Well,
like I said, that's all the same area.
The quest outcome also could send him back to the Commonwealth. That's the whole thing. It just depends on who you side with in the quest. But I don't think the writers of this show are capable of doing anything like that. Really.
Yeah. I think we should now segue to Lucy and the Ghoul. And honestly, I enjoy every single time that the Ghoul gets a flashback. I think it's really good for his character. Not to harp too much on episode 3, but like the ending of it to where it's like he kind of gains his humanity back by like blowing up and like saving Lucy. I think that's really good for his character, and like you kind of get like the atta girl like type of like attitude when Lucy like is laced up. And she's just now killing people.
Oh, their schools, right?
Yeah. Yep. But I just think that the side quests, I wish that like they're a little like more like interesting as far as like when we get to the ultimate point in like Hank. There's so many shows that like you have end goal here, and then you're just like, oh, we'll do this. Oh, we'll do this. Oh, we'll do this. Oh, we'll do it. And then like 5 episodes pass, and you're like right here, and then obviously it's probably gonna wait to the finale when we like get our big battle with Hank again, which that's gonna be weird level of pacing if that is the case.
To be fair, like just from a Fallout standpoint, like
are you saying
that is like a Fallout like thing is you'll be doing a main quest and here's 6 side quests that all of a sudden you want to do more than the main quest. Right. So like I know that's not at all
fair, but as the viewer, I'm not choosing that. I'm being forced to go on a side quest I don't want to go on.
True, but like I know it wasn't their like creative intention with it, but it is.
Yeah, I get it. I do get that. Yeah. And I think ultimately, like the Ghoul is just stealing the show, man. Like, he's so good. Like, and I don't know. I feel like Lucy's losing her main character spotlight. I feel like all the development going on is through the Ghoul. Like, I feel like the writers have a point and they're like, we really like writing about the Ghoul. So guess what? We're gonna write about the Ghoul, and props to them. I mean, they're doing a good job with the character. Mm-hmm. And I do think he is the most captivating, best performed, best written character in the show. But, I mean, I'd like to see Lucy get a little bit of that love, too. Like, I feel like there's so many, like, one-liners of, like, I'm the nice person. This is how we handle things. I'm naive. And that's great, That's going to hopefully progress into something where, like, she's more, like, cutthroat or, maybe, like, she is, like, has, like, a grip of the world, but she just chooses to be kind but not naive. But I it just goes to the point where I feel like a lot of the love is going to the Ghoul right now, and it's great. But I think Lucy's definitely losing her main character title right now.
Back to your like Lucy getting a little more cutthroat. In the little snippet for the next episode, she does have a power fist, and she seems to be like screaming and charging at somebody
Okay.
or something. And then there was like a snippet of the ghoul being a real sad boy chilling at the bar.
Like
Probably thinking back to his first time in Vegas and
like ghoul or like his flashback.
The ghoul is sitting at a bar being sad, and
okay.
then it flashes back to his first time in Vegas. He's riding on a nuke, kind of like a rodeo bull.
Oh,
yeah.
And then he gets face to face with House, and House says, "I know you've come to Vegas to kill me." So maybe it'll be a pretty good fueled episode. I hope so. I hope it finally goes back up because it has been after episode 1 kind of going down. I hope it's on the incline.
I think episode 4 was. I think 3
yeah.
You can't really give like a real rating to because I think 3 was just a lot of filler.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And not like big filler, like just kind of side progression. I mean, it was progression.
Yeah.
It was a progression.
It was
episode,
fulfilling
is what I would
Lucy's
say.
little side plot of taking the hurt lady
Introducing
back
the Legion.
home and then
Yeah.
introduce the Legion. And then it was
And then kicking
ghoul.
off the Legions like Civil War.
I just hope we get like a good, like interesting organization. I think the most interesting organization that we've gotten right now is Vault Tech.
Well, the thing is, I think they've kind of just. So the NCR is just the two.
They've kind of just nerfed
And then
every faction out
usually
there.
at this point you would be like the strip would be controlled by some faction and so but they don't have that.
Yes.
Right.
So
And I'm not saying that the original source material factions are bad. I'm just saying that the show, the show is just not delivering like a good like antagonist faction. Besides Vault-Tec. I do think Vault-Tec is really interesting and they are good.
The Legion could be a really good like antagonistic faction. I think they just have to get over, like, writing-wise, they just have to get over, like, the hump of their civil war and finally determine a leader. Because once they have that leader, whoever it is,
I think it'll be what I told you earlier, where they're going to be in the Civil War, and Macaulay Culkin's character is going to pick up the note out of Caesar's pocket, and he's going to say, "It's me! I'm the next leader!"
Bro's going to be the Joseph Smith to the Legion.
And that, I genuinely think that's what's going to happen.
I wouldn't even be necessarily mad at it either.
Honestly.
Prediction time.
I wouldn't either. I mean, it's already kind of established that the way they did the Legion is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And goofy.
It's not, like I said, it's not crazy to say that the Legion would, like, split like that after Caesar's death. And I think it's kind of, like, symptomatic, actually, of, like, the fall of the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And how that all went down.
Yeah.
I just think how they did, like, the capture the flag over his body.
Yeah.
I
think
just
that
goofy.
was goofy.
But I think it's needed because you have such a short time frame, like episode-wise and screen time-wise, that they're working with. So I think it was just kind of a rough creative decision that they had to make, and that's just how they went with it. Which, I mean, I'm not... Like, if that's the case, I'm not too mad at it.
Right.
It is what it is at that point.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, right, if we have this chapter of the Brotherhood, which is goofy and really hasn't shown any sight of progression, and I just pray that we get that with the Legion. Because, like, if it just stays goofy, you have, okay, this chapter of the Brotherhood's goofy. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, this Walmart play at war faction just never develops into an actual war-hungry organization or whatever. However they want to do it, just take themselves more seriously. Then it's like, what are we doing with all this screen time with all these people that are not progressing with anything?
Yeah, I get what you're saying 100% there, too. Because, I mean, you have the Legions obviously tied to Lucy and the Ghoul now.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're going to want to go after the Ghoul. So, it could end up being a whole... Like, they tie in all the characters through the Ghoul and Lucy. I mean, that could be what it is, and I'm assuming that's what it'll end up being.
Yes. Okay.
Is it 8 episodes?
I believe. I'm not sure. But
maybe. That sounds about right.
if so, we're essentially at the halfway point of season 2.
If it is.
Yeah. If it's 8 episodes.
If it's 8 or not. But that means you only got 4 episodes, and you got to start. You really got to start
putting the pieces.
Getting some progression.
Yeah, unless you are saying that season 2 will not have a concise ending, and it will just still be a continuous loop. Even though season 1 had like a big ending, but still stayed continuous. Maybe they're saying that there's no bow on the season. It's just one big story.
Yeah, I think they'd just be missing out.
They would be. Yeah. They 100% would be. But I'm just saying, like, I've seen shows that do that. Like House of the Dragon season 2 really didn't have like a big ending to it. It's just like, yep, now it's wartime. It's like, okay. But I digress about House of the Dragon. But yeah, what would you say like has been like the key moment of this episode that like really made you really like it?
Ooh. I think when the Brotherhood actually was attacking each other, I thought that was at least interesting because I think it can be built off of it. It can be built off of pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like through the civil, like because that happens all the time. Through the Civil War and through like the ashes, a greater power can rise. That'd be really interesting. I mean, seeing the Death Claws, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a nod to the game and. Seeing the Kings, unfortunately, and they were in the state that they were in, that was pretty cool. But probably right around like the Brotherhood mark is when I was like, okay, I think the episode's starting to pick up from here, which is about like the halfway point of the episode.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest like building piece of the entire episode for me, like in my opinion, was like Maximus's decision as soon as we get into the episode and the Brotherhood's tracked him down, and he's like, we gotta go back. And he's talking to Thaddeus, and he's like, we gotta go back. I think it's like, he realized with Harkness, he kind of realized that was like his final straw was, the Brotherhood's not my place.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't have the power that they have. It's kind of what, and I think that's like the biggest moment that progresses the story in this episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd say for me, I don't know if I have like a pinpoint. That is a good point, although like it's not like fantastic. It's still very good. But I would say just to like kind of give a different perspective. I'd say the scenes with it was cool to see the ghoul like in like the wartime in his power armor. I thought that was a really good flashback. And really just got to see that. I think something that's just tied with it too is just kind of Lucy just letting loose. But yeah, I mean, I thought there's just a lot of good to mid with this show. That nothing's like terribly bad as far as like a show perspective on its own, but it's just not like fantastic.
I think it's like acted and produced.
I think some. I think the vault gets a little shaky sometimes.
The vault. We haven't even touched on the vault. That they did make good progress on the vault in this episode too, which is they desperately needed to make progress on the vault if they wanted that to even be a story.
Yeah.
Right. It had to happen in this episode. So I'm glad that they did touch on it a bit, but it's like we were just talking about. There's just a lot of stories that you need to wrap up in if you're going to wrap them up, that you have to wrap up in a short amount of time at this point.
They have a lot of pieces going on. Lots of things. Lots of moving parts.
And dare to say, too, what they do at the vault has to affect our main cast. Like, it has to have some impact, or else us as viewers, it really matters nothing to the story.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it has to. Like,
and I think it will. I
eventually.
think because it ties in with I don't know if the character got a name in the episode, but the
husband are you talking about?
No, the guy that Norm was talking to. Is questioning him about.
Yeah. I
and he talks about stage 2 of the vault.
Yeah.
So I think obviously
there might be something there.
But I think that's how they'll ultimately tie the vault in the whole story and whatnot.
Yeah. But ultimately, I thought it was a good episode. Certainly better than episode 3. I think we are building into the right direction as far as the show goes. I think it's steady progression, although it can be slow. But, I mean, like I said, not necessarily anything that the show is, like, doing wrong, especially this episode. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video on the more shorter side. But we'll be back next week talking about episode 5 if it's good. But yeah, peace.
See ya.